Number 1. At the time of this story, I lived in a suburban town on Long Island. My parents were going away for the weekend, and I would have the whole house to myself. I had been aware of their plans for a few weeks, and my friends and I planned to throw a party that weekend. I had just turned 21 at the time, so I was excited to break out the alcohol for the first time too. My parents left the house on Saturday morning, and that night, my friends started showing up around 6. We ordered pizza and got out a bunch of snacks and drinks. A bunch more people showed up as the hours went by, and I quickly lost track of who came in and out. I was surrounded by a bunch of people I didn't know, but I just kind of assumed that they were friends of friends or something. At some point around 11, my friends and I were talking about our favorite movies, when suddenly we heard someone shouting. We rushed over to see what was going on, and saw a random guy yelling at a girl. We asked what happened, and the girl told us that the guy came onto her, and when she rejected him, he got angry and called her a snob. We told the guy to leave, but he told us to buzz off and that it wasn't our business. We told him again to leave, or we'd call the police. The guy looked really mad, but he eventually stormed off. We figured it wasn't a big deal now that the guy was gone, and that he acted aggressively because he was drunk. The party began to wind down around 2 in the morning. A lot of people left, and a few who were too drunk to drive ended up staying the rest of the night. There were 4 of us in total, me and my friends Jake, Sean, and Selena. We watched TV for a little while before falling asleep in the living room. I woke up a couple hours later to a strange sound. Have you ever been sleeping and you were awakened by a noise but you didn't know what it was because you were asleep? This was one of those times. I wasn't sure what it was that woke me, so I got up and went into the kitchen. When I walked in, I saw a shadow in the corner. I couldn't make anything out at first, but I quickly realized that there was someone standing in the corner. I started panicking on the inside, but I didn't make a sound. I didn't know if they saw me or not, so I started slowly walking backwards toward the living room. Unfortunately, the floorboards creaked under my weight, and I clenched my teeth in fear. The figure turned and began walking over to me. When the figure walked past the window, the moonlight revealed the face of the guy from the party who was bothering the girl. He was walking towards me with a malicious grin on his face, and he was carrying a butcher knife. I screamed when I saw the knife, and my 3 friends woke up and ran over. When the guy saw my friends, he quickly turned and ran for the front door. We called the police, and an officer came by to ask us questions about what happened. We told him to the best of our ability what the guy looked like, and he said he would be on the lookout. A few days later, the cop calls me back and told me they found the guy and arrested him. Turns out, he assaulted another woman at a local bar when she rejected his attempt to hit on her. The manager of the bar called the police, and the guy was subdued. I still have nightmares about him to this day, and I'm very happy that I wasn't alone in the house. Number 2. A young couple in their 20s were throwing a house party on Halloween night. The party was huge, and people were coming and going all night. The boyfriend in this story, named Dave, owned the house, and whenever he threw parties, he never really paid attention to who came and left his house. During the party, Dave noticed a strange guy standing in the corner of the room, not talking to anyone. This guy seemed like he was in his late 50s or early 60s, and since this party was made up of people in their 20s, this guy stuck out like a sore thumb. Dave wasn't sure if he should ask the guy who he was or to leave, but as he continued drinking, he quickly forgot about it. The next morning, Dave woke up to the phone ringing. It was the mother of Dave's girlfriend, Miranda. Miranda didn't come home the previous night, and her mother wanted to know if she stayed the night at Dave's. Dave quickly began to panic, since Miranda didn't stay the night with him. Dave called the police, and he and a few of his friends began searching the streets looking for her. Eventually, Dave and his friends saw someone walking down the street. It was the old guy from the party, and he was carrying a large sack over his shoulder. Dave and his friends yelled at the guy to get his attention, and the man quickly dropped the sack and bolted down the street. The boys chased after him, but the guy managed to get away. When the boys opened the sack, they found Miranda. She had been struck over the head by a heavy object. Dave called the police again and told them what they had found. The police escorted them home and took Miranda to the hospital. Luckily, she ended up surviving the experience. When Dave asked her what happened, she said that she left the party around midnight and was walking home, when all of a sudden, everything went black. Number 3. This is something I am still trying to cope with to this day. I was 16 at the time, and I was invited to a party at my friend Andy's house. It was in the middle of summertime, and Andy had a pool in his backyard, so he told me to bring a bathing suit with me. The party was on a hot Wednesday afternoon, and I showed up around noontime, excited to take a jump in the pool and cool off. There were around 25 people at Andy's house, either swimming in the pool or in the house eating and drinking. I went into the living room and started talking with a group of my friends. Among us was a mutual friend of ours named Veronica. When I joined in, she started telling us about her ex-boyfriend, Jason. She said that about a month ago, she found out that Jason was cheating on her with another mutual friend, and promptly ended the relationship. Jason apparently didn't like that, because not long after, he started stalking her. Veronica started getting strange phone calls from an unknown number late at night. Whenever she would answer, she would hear nothing but silence, and occasionally faint breathing on the other end. She also told us that she would see his Mustang tailing her when she was driving to her workplace, and sometimes she would see him walking a few feet behind her if she was at the supermarket or on a walk or something. We kind of joked around about it, but also told her that we'd help keep an eye out for him if she wanted. Anyway, a couple hours later, Veronica says she was going to change and go in the pool, and I decided I might as well change too. I got into my bathing suit and went into the pool for a bit. I kind of bopped around, did cannonballs in the pool, and took turns diving off Vandy's diving board with my friends. At one point, I got out of the pool to get a drink and dry off. I was sipping my can of root beer when I heard a scream coming from the pool. I looked and saw Veronica splashing around, trying to get to the edge and climb out. I ran over and saw a flash of red on the pool's surface, and as Andy and I helped her out of the pool, we spot a man in a jet black bathing suit getting out of the pool on the other side and sprinting off the property. Andy and I get Veronica into the house, and we find a stab wound in her leg. She told us that, as she was playing in the pool, she saw Jason swimming towards her very fast, and when she tried to get away, he stabbed her. We tried our best to bandage her leg and stop the bleeding before calling the police. The police showed up and took Veronica to the hospital, where she received stitches on her leg. We told the police what happened, and they quickly tracked down Jason and arrested him. I'm still good friends with both Andy and Veronica, and I still have trouble wrapping my head around what happened. Unfortunately, there are so many insane people in this world. What's up, everybody? This is the Lone Wolf here. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed these 3 stories. Since Halloween this year falls on a Saturday evening, I plan on doing another Halloween special next week. I hope you guys enjoy what I have in store. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications, and join the Lone Wolf Pack. If you want to send me a message, I will leave a link in the description for my Gmail account, so if you have any personal scary stories you want me to read, or any creepypastas you want me to read, go ahead and leave me a recommendation, and I'll use it in a future video. If you're curious about the music that I used, I will also leave links in the description for the artists that I use, as well as the specific tracks, if you want to listen to them for yourself. And of course, if you have any constructive criticism, feel free to leave me a comment. I'm always looking for new ways to improve this channel, and all ideas are welcome. Until next time, you guys, stay spooky. And remember, the hunt begins when the moon is full. See you soon.